K. Sudhakar, Minister from Karnataka. Thank you for your time. It's indeed worrying that this is a terror plot and this has been busted. This man, Sharik, was under the radar for quite some time now. In fact, he was charged with the stringent provisions of the UAPA in 2020. Mr. Sudhakar.
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Sudhakar.
Yeah, I can hear you, madam. Please.
Okay. My question to you was that this is rather worrying from the point of view of the fact that the state is also going to elections. This man, Sharik, has been under the scanner since 2020. Yes. In spite of this, he's managed to carry out this blast that just so happened in the auto rickshaw, but it could have been worse.
Absolutely. It is you can say that it is a dastardly act of crime and hate and terror. So our Home Minister and the top officials of the police department has already, by observing it prima facie, they feel that this is the act of terror, and we condemn this in every possible way. And this government will ensure that we will, get all those people behind this act who all were planned for this terror attack. And this person is a habitual involved in such kind of a terror attacks even earlier also. Especially this person hails from, Mr. Mohammed Sariq hails from Shimoga district, Tirthalli. And from last couple of years, I think he was on the hideout and using some fake ID card of a Hindu. He was carrying a Hindu's Aadhaar card, and I think after investigation, after talking to the auto rickshaw driver and the local people who are the witnesses, eyewitnesses, they have said that this person was carrying a cooker with nuts and cables and gas cylinder.
You know, what I want to ask you, Mr. Sudhakar, is that how did this even happen? Sir, given that this man has been under the scanner since 2020, he's been charged under UAPA. How did this happen then in this matter? Is this not a lapse in the part of the administration, of the police, of the Home Ministry, of the Home Department?
No, he was, as I told you, he was absconding from Shimoga. He was of the lookout, and as you know, in Mangaluru, he could have had the support of other terrorist organizations, possibly. I think it will come out only after thorough investigation is made. Our state is trying to take the help and cooperation of NIA and other central agencies. And I'm sure that somehow they will get to the bottom of this plot, and they will expose everybody. They will try to nab everybody who are involved in this kind of a shameless and cowardly act.
Yes. And you know, Mr. Sudhakar, I want to also ask you that this man had been traveling to other places, including Tamil Nadu, and it is believed that he could have a role behind the Coimbatore blast as well.
Yes, that is also another possibility, because we have seen in the month of October, I think on 23rd or so, similar kind of a low intensity blast had taken place using a Maruti Gypsy vehicle. Again, that is also near a temple, and this was also near temple, and because of the road bump, he has not been able to go and achieve his intention.
Okay.
So he could not reach the temple. Before he reached the temple only, this got blasted. So these are the people, they are anti-social elements. They have tied up with the anti-social elements to break the peace and harmony of this country. So especially our government, national, government have taken it very serious, and since many years, in the last 8 years, if you see, the number of incidences has come down, but nevertheless there are one or two, stray incidents like this, and people like this who are involved, and all the time the vigilance has to be 24/7 and 365 days. We need to specially observe those areas where some areas they feel that the sleeper cells are active there.
Okay.
We need to also see whether any sleeper cells connect is there in Mangaluru, since it is also bordering the Kerala state. We have banned certain organizations like PFI and all. We should also explore the possibility and investigate on those lines as well. So
Okay.
this is a quite sensitive and very important issue for the state. State will not, it will do all its best to nab those culprits,
Okay.
those masterminds.
Mr.
and
Sudhakar, I have a
bring
question
them,
to you.
before the law.
You did say that the role of this man is being looked into, and there is the possibility that the attack was actually meant for a temple. Is that conclusive right now that indeed he was headed towards a temple, and this could have been a big attack on a temple in that sense?
No, when you observe two incidences, that is because he has a role, he has a contact, he has a relation with the person who were instrumental in Coimbatore blast.
Okay.
So he has travelled to Coimbatore, and in Coimbatore, if you see the plot, again it was near the temple.
Right.
And here also it is Durga Parameshwari temple.
Okay.
So there is lot of commonality, but I am not going to judge it, but let our investigation team completely investigate and get to the bottom of it, and finally they will come out with the facts and figures.
I want to ask you, I have two questions in fact. One has got to do with his links to the Islamic State. Give us a sense of this problem in the state of Karnataka with young men like Sharik, leaning towards the Islamic State, getting influence, being a part of it, and having this sort of a nexus with members of the Islamic State, then to wreak havoc in states like Karnataka.
It is very unfortunate to observe these developments in our state. Karnataka is known to be a very peaceful state and a very welfare state. So our budget is more than 2,65,000 crores per annum. So in this kind of a atmosphere where we are called as a startup capital today, Karnataka, we are called as a Silicon City of the country, and people are trying to create scare and fear, especially the international organizations, terrorist organizations who are involved, including IS and all these organizations. They are trying to spread terror and fear amongst the people. They want to destabilize the state and the country economically, socially. They want to disturb the social fabric and economic activities in the state. Like recently in the global investors meet that happened in Bangalore, in this post-COVID era, we saw an almost 9.5 lakh crore of investments that MOU were signed.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mr. Sudhakar, I get the point that you're making, but how is this going to overshadow the growth and progress of Karnataka? Like you pointed out, we are putting out those pictures for our viewers where this man clearly shows that he indeed is linked to the Islamic State. The pose that he is making with the cooker really indicative of what he intends to do also. How big is this problem in the state of Karnataka?
It could be
Or men like Sharik?
No, there are some people like this. We are not ridiculing that fact. There are few youngsters who are brainwashed by certain organizations. They get into wrong people, wrong ideologies, which they believe that it is the right ideology. We have to address the root of the problem. we also have to ensure that such organizations, as we have already banned, I really congratulate and acknowledge our national government to have completely taken out this kind of organizations. PFI they banned, which is a very welcome move. This could be after effects of certain strict decisions of the government. But nevertheless, I feel that our government is very able, and we will nab such real culprits and bring them before the law.
All right, I'm going to thank you for the moment, Mr. Sudhakar, for joining us. Minister from Karnataka, talking about the intention of his government to bring justice as far as people like Sharik are concerned. This, remember, has got to do with the horrific terror plot that has just been uncovered in Mangaluru. And this after a cooker bomb went off in a